So this one is for the nerds and the connoisseurs, but it also features what might be one of the best new boots of the year for me. It's the Mizuno Innovation Pack. It features 4 boots, and in today's video I'll tell you everything you need to know about them, show you what they look like in action, and hopefully at the end help you decide if, and if so, which of these boots you should buy in the link right up there or in the description. So let's go! But before we talk about the boots themselves, I also want to discuss the Innovation Pack a little bit, because it kind of taps into Mizuno's rebuild project that is basically their playground, where they take all their craftsmanship, all of their heritage, and they kind of fuse it with modern technology and modern ways of building football boots. And here we have 4 football boots that kind of do a little bit of everything. To be honest, I don't know if they're the most innovative boots we've ever seen, technologically at least, but they do things a new way, for Mizuno at least, and when they're this good, to be honest,
I don't really care what they call them.
And the first concept revolves around swapping outsoles. Like, seriously, that's it. Pretty innovative, I would say. But the thing is that it's something I've been wishing for, funnily enough, for many, many years. And I don't know if Mizuno have listened. If you have, my G's. But if not, it revolves around, basically taking the uppers from the Alpha II and the Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 Beta Japan, and then just swapping the outsoles, meaning that you get a Morelia with the Alpha sole on and the other way around. And again, maybe it's not high innovation, but it works because it's created this monster with the Morelia upper, that is just, it's absolutely phenomenal, and then the Alpha outsole with the Carvo insole board and the triangular studs. And it's a beast, like a proper beast. And for me, I think this might be the missing piece in my football boot collection. I've always loved the Morelia Neo. And it's hard to really put a finger on what could improve, but I always just also thought that it could have done with a slightly more responsive outsole to really compete in the speed boot market. It's kind of sat somewhere in between. But now it has, and the result is wonderful because you still get this really sleek upper with one of the softest forefoots in the game, 4 foot, 4 feet, whatever. Super soft K-leather upper. You get a very good midfoot with good stability and a heel that just works. It locks you in nicely, holds your foot in place, and now it also has one of the most responsive outsoles in the game, period. Which is pretty wonderful if you ask me. But anyways, if you're used to the Morelia Neo 4, this will be a slightly different experience. It's a little bit wider at the base, a little bit more wide fitting, and of course, it's also more aggressive, which might not be for everyone, but for me, it's close to perfection. It's everything I've wanted, kinda. And okay, maybe if they made the non-beta version with the classic U-throw tongue construction and a stitch and turn heel, it would have been better, but you can't have it all, I guess. So it's pretty damn good. And the Alpha II Japan with the Morelia Neo outsole on is also a very good football boot, but honestly, it's not necessarily something I'd ever thought I really needed in my life. But it's really solid because what you get here is that same lovely fit from the Alpha II, which is, because of the outsole, a little bit more narrow at the base. It fits my foot very, very well, but if you're used to the slightly wider fit in the Alpha that really adjusts, it's just something you need to keep in mind. But apart from that, it's a great shape, super accommodating, and you get what is arguably the most locked-in sensation in this boot because of the engineered fit frame here that's really stable, and then of course the zero glide mesh liner here that covers the entire inside of the boot. It's a little bit sticky, and that combined with the deep lacing here means that when you pull your laces tight, your foot just doesn't move, especially when you wear grip socks. And actually getting the boot off with grip socks on can be a little bit difficult because it's just there. So a lovely fit, and then by putting on the Morelia Neo outsole, you get a slightly more balanced, maybe a little bit more of a generally appealing feel to the boot. It's a little bit more, I would say, focused on rotational maneuverability and just feels like a little bit smoother compared to that very aggressive, super hardcore, responsive ride that you normally get with the Alpha. So a really good synthetic boot, lovely fit, and I guess it's something that works. Again, I didn't know that I needed it in my life, but I like to play in it. It's not offensive to me. But for me also, it's the Morelia Alpha outsole combination that's really the winner here. But then there's also this, the Morelia Proto, where it kind of feels as if the Mizuno design is just threw away the rule book and started playing a little bit, meaning that you get an upper inspired by the pattern of the regular Morelia boots. You get that Morelia stitch pattern that's really, really nice. And then it's been put and built on top of the engineered fit last, giving it a slightly more sleek and modern fit. And that gives you this really interesting combination of this super thin leather upper that's very, very malleable. You have a big lacing system, super good for adjusting the fit, and then you have a big clean striking surface. And as I said, just a very modern and really accommodating fit. What they've also done is slap it on an AG outsole, which is cool because, you know, it's one of the best AG outsoles around. And personally, I play a lot on artificial grass, but I'm not sure I fully get it. And that's the general vibe with the boot. I love me a prototype boot. I love experimenting, but I just, you know, what is it? It's really nice. It's super comfortable, actually rather lightweight, and it feels like an interpretation of the regular cup without the padding in the upper. With a great outsole on, I could have maybe wished for a slightly better heel like we see on the Morelia II, slightly tighter fit, but I can't complain. It's nice, it's lovely, and easy to enjoy, especially if you're an AG. And genuinely, if you play a lot on AG and you like your leather boots, you're gonna struggle to find a better boot than this one. It's phenomenal and so soft. And then there is the Morelia II, where the upper has been swapped from the normal K leather to Japanese cow leather. And you might be thinking to yourself, but isn't that a little bit of like a downgrade from K to cow leather? That's not exactly what you want to hear, right? Until maybe you understand how the Japanese treat their cows, because then you're going to understand the level of softness of this upper. See, to be a wagyu cow in Japan is not a bad thing. Some of them get massages, you know, they get special food, they play jazz music to really relax and ensure that they just live their best possible life. And whether that really affects the leather or not, I'm not an expert to say that, but the leather quality is just really, really nice for a cow leather upper. It's really plush, it's very padded, and perhaps a little bit more so than the other boots in the pack, but it's just really lovely, and the way it just molds to the shape of your foot once you put it on like that is second to none. And this is probably one of the most slipper-like experiences you'll find on any football boot out there, like full stop. Because it's very, very easy to put on and just feel at home in. But what you also need to understand is that the Morelia II is like the heritage boot offer in Mizuno's lineup. So it has a little bit more body and volume to it, and there's just a little bit more boot around your foot. The outsole is no nonsense, maybe not my favorite in the world, but it works. And if you're after comfort, this is one of the boots you should be looking at. And I guess having a wagyu Japanese cow upper it's a fun story. But you know, they've done it before, again, so I'm not really sure how innovative it is, but it's hella comfortable, so I'm not gonna complain. It is what it is. But I'm just so insanely sold on the Morelia Neo Alpha combination, whatever you want to call it, the hybrid here, and partially also on the Morelia Proto, which is a pretty welcome addition to the Mizuno family. But this, guys, this is wild. The only downside, I would say, apart from the name, I mean, Innovation Pack might be a little bit of a stretch, and they probably should have called it the Refinement Pack, I guess, instead. But on a serious note, the only real downside is that they are expensive football boots that cost an arm and a leg. And I know that quality is expensive, and these are the highest quality, they are the best. But the high price also means that it kind of automatically prevents a lot of people from trying the awesomeness of these boots, and that sucks a little bit. On the other hand, we might have seen one of the best new boots of the year already, alongside the Morelia DNA, in this, so I'm not really allowed to complain, am I? But I'd love to hear what you think about all of the boots. If you want to buy them, of course, you can do so in the link to Unisport right over there. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section right down below. Make my day by subscribing to the channel with the notifications on. Like the video, and with those words, I'll be signing off. Arigatou gozaimasu. Cheerio.